April 6th, 1968, Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore was oversieged by tons and tons and tons of violence. I mean, you got this is all estimated, but you got around 3,500 curfews, 955 burglaries, 655 accounts of looting, 391 arrests and assaults, and you have around 5 arrests for arson. Now, explain that day to you. Like, could you explain that day to me? Like, when you wake up that morning and you see you just found out about Dr. King getting assassinated. Like, how is all of this registering in your mind?
Because I was 12 years old, and that was the year that my father died. My father died March 21st, 1968. So I hadn't gotten through the grieving process of my father because I was 12, and I did not fully comprehend. You're not going to see your 32-year-old father again. My father was 32 years old, died from a massive stroke. Totally unexpected. We found out in the news on our little cute black and white TV that Martin Luther King had been assassinated on April the 2nd. That's my brother's birthday. So I'm having grief, loss, my brother's birthday, didn't know how to feel, went to bed that night, heard rumors about looting, woke up the next day, still not grasping what was going on. News accounts, they were talking about looting in Chicago, looting coming north to south. My mother was concerned about looting in Baltimore because we lived in a really small street. In our street was a warehouse, Mansfield and Osler, white. On both sides of the street they sold birdseed. So they had the office on one side and the warehouse on the other side, which was a house from my house. And the concern was all the black store owners were putting up signs that said, "I'm black." All the black store owners put up black, like ribbons, black owned, black operated. Then the white store owners started putting up black ribbons, black owned, black operated. And everybody in the neighborhood knew. Come on now, it's Mansfield and Oaks, they recognize the names. So the concern was if they set that place on fire, our whole block. A half a block away was Harford Road. It was nothing at that point, Harford Avenue. Between Federal and North Avenue was nothing but stores. 3 cut rates, a hairdresser, a store that sold minor birds, a lovely bird pet store, a hardware store, a Rite Aid, which wasn't Rite Aid, it was called Reed's, a bakery, so you could be neighborhood, but it was all white. One by one, those places started being set on fire. And the people that were burning them up were just like me and you. They were burning them up because they were angry, they didn't know why, they didn't know how to express their anger, because the owner of the minor bird store did not kill Dr. Martin Luther King.
Right.
The owner of the hardware store did not kill Dr. Martin Luther King. What he had in common was, it was thought, and I still don't know, that a white man killed Dr. Martin Luther King. But in my opinion, we'll talk about that later, man's ignorance killed Dr. Martin Luther King. And ignorance has no color. The riots. My mother let out a shout, I'll never forget it. And she was in the door. And it was, I thought that meant the place was on fire next door. It was the state National Guard coming through the block with their rifles, scared the mess out of me. They're coming through the block they were coming through the block to save Mansfield House's warehouse, but also to make everybody go in the house for the curfews, and they were pointing the guns at you as they walked up the street, saying, "Go in the house is for your safety." And I'm thinking, go in the house for my safety because you've never gone on me?
Right.
Or go in the house for my safety because it's a fire a block over. But go in the house for a fire a block over, I'll die in the house from the fire. And I can't come out of the house because you have a gun pointed on me to say stay in the house because I look like a little black girl. Strange time, a strange time. The concern was Sears Roebuck, North and Harvard, they're going to burn up Sears. And that was everybody's store. Layaway, you could go in there Christmas time and just, wish and hope. But they're going to burn up Sears and Roebuck. So the National Guard took hold at North and Harvard Avenues for a whole week. Everything burned but Sears. All up and down Harvard Road, but not Sears. Not Sears Roebuck, not Sears Roebuck and Son. So we went through, what was it called? We had a curfew of 7 o'clock, but I couldn't go, I was only 12, so I couldn't go upstairs anyway. So the curfew was you had to be in your block on the steps, and then you would just smell smoke, and then you'd watch the news, and you'd see these people are burning up towns everywhere. And then you saw James Brown on television. He came out with Fair Laugh, boom, boom, I'm black and I'm proud. Boom. He was in Chicago performing. He was in Detroit performing. He was telling us through his music that rioting was not the way to deal with death.
But you spoke about the National Guard being at Sears and Buckingham less than a week. Well, you know, it's accounted that the riots lasted approximately until April 14th, which is a week later. So I know you gave like a very descriptive description of how that week was for you, but could you get a little more specific of like exactly how that week was for you? Like that week, it must have felt like hell.
It was, you know, it was because we stayed in the house anyway. We had stuff to do. We had a nice house. You know, my brother and my sister are 3 years and 4 years older than me. So, you know, it was just stay in the house. Mom didn't go to work. You know, Mama couldn't go to work because Mom worked at a white laundry. They got burned down during the riot, so Mama didn't have a job. So we, you know, we did cooking and cleaning and sewing and talking, and my mother did a lot of hiding from us. Hiding meaning that she didn't want us to watch too much of that. You know, no, I wasn't scared. It was just that, because 4 doors down was my grandmother. And it was, okay, let's just figure out what's going on. And Granny was always comforting. Granny's statement was always, don't worry about it, baby. God's got this. Don't worry about this, baby. God's got this. So you kind of got used to the smoke smell, too. You know, for me, it was about smoking. But you kind of got used to the smoke smell, and you just got used to people waiting for something to happen. And with the presence of the National Guard, with the presence of the police department, with the presence of good parents like we had back then, it was going to be all right after a while. So, you know, you just stayed in the house. And then what really stands out is being able to come out after the 14th and walk around and see the devastation. It was like, oh my God, Harford Road is gone.
So how was the like directly after the riots, like the next day or the next couple of days, how was that? Like, how was that experience?
You didn't know where you were. So you would walk around there, and people were out, literally just wandering around, like looking, oh my God, oh my God. And that oh my God lasted for almost 10 years with
10 years.
nothing.
So, the riots of 1968 and America in 2011, like, do you see any growth? Do you see any difference, like, in the mindset of the people?
But the difference outside of Obama being the president, and folks, at one time when I saw all colors rally behind a man who had a vision and a voice, like Martin Luther King had. That's the first time since Martin Luther King that I found an African-American man with a vision and a voice that affected people like Martin Luther King, because he crossed all color lines too. The mindset of people, still hopelessness. The mindset of the haves and the have-nots, that's the biggest problem. The have-nots still don't recognize that you may not have financially, but you have the same benefit of a millionaire emotionally, logically, and if you put those things together economically, you can be higher than what you are. I still believe there's significant racism. Oh my God. I need you to go to the archives on the internet and put in race riots pictures of the city of Baltimore. I saw an expose at some museum. Took me back and was like, oh my God, what's his name? It's just, you know, because it was like, they were your neighbors, and everybody's looking like, I'm getting something, and what'd you get?
Right.
You know, I'm burning up an area that I live in that will make me, because everybody didn't have cars. So now I can't go to the market that's 2 blocks away. The next market is on Sinclair Lane somewhere, and the bus is not running because it's a curfew. What we get?
Right.
What we could have got was from all that ash and fire and rubbish, rebuild our own neighborhoods. But who's on our corners now? Selling to us. You know, so you tell me. That's what you're in school for. How was that?
All right. Well, thank you.